Hi guys! So welcome back to another this is a twin flame pick a card video, because the way I'm going to do this on my channel is like one day I'm going to do a twin flame related pick a card, then the next day I'm going to do something that's non-twin flame. However, what I would say is the twin flame journey is completely exclusive. It brings in every single part of you on every single level, from relationship to money to life purpose to health to well-being to just the entire shebang. So essentially the other videos that aren't twin flame related will still absolutely help you leverage and maximize the situation that you are currently in your twin flame dynamic, or at least that's my intention, right? So on this pick a card, we're going to have three options, and the question is going to be this. We're going to go a little bit deeper this time, okay, today, because one thing that categorically will always happen on the twin flame journey is it will bring up things from your childhood, categorically, both things that you have personally and individually experienced yourself, and also things to do with primary caregivers and the dynamics that have gone off there, and also the relationship that you have with the main masculine person in your life that was the primary caregiver. And let's just say, for stereotype's sake, that's the dad, but obviously it can be any format, because remember, it's the energy that's most important. You might have had a mother figure that had more masculine energy than your father figure, and so what we're talking about here, always when I ever talk about male or female, I'm talking about the energies, not the physical representation of the person. So we'll also look into that. But the specific question is this. Let me just get this, because my guys channeled it to me and I wrote it down. Okay, so the pick a card for this is the twin flame connection, how both your childhoods are currently impacting this relationship dynamic, and how to leverage this in a healthy, harmonious way. Because this is the one thing, when we go into the childhood stuff, it can be really easy to get into a place of blame massively. So that's just one thing that we're going to make sure we avoid on this. Just before I go any further, just to let you know, I am on Instagram on Abigail Grace 2311, so I post lots of psychic stuff there. I've also got my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, which is specific tools, tips, techniques and awarenesses about how to leverage your life with psychic abilities. Because everybody on the twin flame journey, and just every human anyway, is psychic. It's just not really something that, we never had classes at school on it, basically. So that's information on there. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and I've got an Etsy account if you're looking for a reading or something like that, and there will be digital products on there soon. But let us go straight into this now. So just get relaxed in your body. As always, go with your first instinctive response. So remember, the question is, twin flame connection, how both your childhoods are currently impacting this relationship dynamic, and how to leverage this. So is your answer in pile number 1? Is your answer in pile number 2? Is your answer in pile number 3? Okay. So just go with your first response, because it bypasses the conscious mind and we get into the deeper dynamics. And childhood shizzle is always in that subconscious, unconscious realm until you make it conscious. And then even once you make it conscious, it's still about working how to recreate or restructure things. So let's go on to pile number 1. Okay, so this is pile number 1. Let me see which cards I'm going for first. Okay. So as usual, I'll see if I can channel any messages while we go along, and you totally feel into your body to do with this. So let's just see what comes out for you guys. So obviously there's many things. This is the thing with psychic stuff. You really can tap into anything. So you also need to be responsible about how you do this. So when it comes to you, we'll say to the universe, we can have anything, right? When it comes to your twin flame, we only want to know something which is in our best interests and their best interests, okay? So we don't want to in any way go into any realm which is I don't know, which just is not, I would say, psychically ethical to do with your twin flame. So just with that in mind, this is you, your childhood, and this will be your twin. This will be how it's impacting it. Right. So let me just see. So I'm getting for this pile, oh wow, that one just flipped out there. I'm getting for this pile that there's definitely sadness involved. Whether your childhood or their childhood was happy or sad is kind of not really what we're talking about. We're talking about what is the energy from the childhood which is currently impacting your dynamic. And currently, anything where there's this feeling of sadness and isolation and loneliness, that's the vibe that I'm really picking up to do with this pile, okay? And that is affecting... that is, my guides are saying that's affecting how far this connection is currently going, because until that sadness is lifted, and it's almost like a protective cloud around actually both of your hearts, it makes it very, very difficult for you to get to the next level of your connection in whatever way that might be. I'm also getting that the reason why this has happened is because actually both you and your twin are very, very sensitive. And regardless of what they physically look like, you physically look like, how you both interact in physical reality, if a psychic was to look into your souls, they would be able to see that they're super sensitive. They're sensitive and they're soft and they're emotional, and they're really in tune with things. But then because they're so sensitive and in tune, it's quite easy for both of you to get off balanced in some way. And that's categorically something that happened a lot in childhood. And both of you have developed certain coping strategies to do with that. However, those coping strategies that you developed as a result of the childhood are now restricting how far you can go in this connection. That's quite specific. Didn't expect to get that, but anyway, we'll go with that. I just want one more. So let's see how this plays out with everything. Right. So let's see on your side. I want to know this one because this one flipped out, so I know this is important. Teacher, the wolf. Okay, and then you also have angels and spirit guides. Wow. So let me just keep going. I don't want to say anything yet. So we have Queen of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. I'm feeling all of these upright, by the way, regardless of how they come out. And your twin has Five of Crystals, King of Crystals, and the Knight of Swords. You jointly have the Strength card, Water, so a lot of emotions going off, and also Retreat. Okay, and then this one here is Sacred Healing, the Drum. Okay, right, so just give me a moment to feel into all of this. You please do the same. Let's work out. Okay, this is kind of really, really interesting. I'm getting, obviously, everything that I channeled, that definitely I can see and feel that in the cards too. But what I'm actually getting, which I didn't expect, is regardless of what you might think, and it surprised me, so it'll probably surprise you, I'm guessing, is you are more protective to letting in this connection than your twin currently is because of your childhood experiences. And it's surprising because I feel that you would assume that they are more protective towards you, but I actually think that they have, in their own way, which you probably won't recognise, have constantly actually tried to open up and express their form of love language to you. because obviously we've got like the King of Cups here, the drum. I just feel like they've been trying to do that. However, because they also have some wounds unhealed from childhood, where I'm not sure that they were able, for whatever reason, to receive love from their primary caregivers. And that was, my guides are saying, because one, their parents did struggle to do that, but two, because they'd already chosen those parents because of the past life themes that they were working with to do with opening up their heart anyway. It's given them, this lifetime's given them a really good situation to break through that, because they've experienced maybe not as much heartfelt connection from their primary caregivers as they would have liked as a soul, particularly because they're sensitive and really in tune. So even the smallest little things that maybe their primary caregivers did or didn't do, they would have picked up on and internalized it a lot, okay? But the fact that they chose those parents, and that they were also going to meet you in this lifetime, their twin flame counterpart, which obviously is going to bring out the most amount of love, let's say, it's given them like a really good juxtaposition. But you see this juxtaposition from the potential that your connection can feed into their heart and their energy field in their life, to the juxtaposition about how that they were brought up by their primary caregivers, is really quite a stark contrast. And so in all honesty, they've been having to work quite hard as a soul to, it's like they can't go from one extreme to the other, right? Because it's just too far of a big vibration. So from their childhood experiences of feeling love to the sort of love that is available in this twin flame connection, it's massively different. So actually a lot of their journey from their childhood to do with you is about closing that gap. And the thing is, before they even close the gap to get towards you, they've got to go through stages within their own self-growth to do with how they can open up their heart, express love, but you know what, more than that, actually be able to receive it and to be able to be softened and sensitive to do with things when sometimes they might have my guides are saying very specifically, this group, you might notice with your twin flame that quite often they might try and open up and then they will start shutting down. And I see that very much with these two cards here together, and the drum, to be honest, because the drum brings in movement and sort of gets things going. So it's like they start to do this pathway of opening up, King of Cups, and they do it in a really mature way, which makes you feel safe and makes you feel just basically safe, actually, is the word that I'm getting. But then the thing is, then once they start to sort of go into that unknown for them, which is expressing themselves and receiving more love from somebody, i.e. you, it starts to feel unknown to them. And then they have a defensive where they sort of like then go into this sort of mode where they kind of shut down. But the thing is, like the person here, if you can see in the crystal, he's not happy being shut down, and he's trying to work against, let's say, he's part, and I'm saying he, but remember it's the most masculine energy, the most masculine energy. So he is trying to break away from the bullshit that the man, or the most masculine energy, shouldn't be so expressive with their emotions, like all the the prescribed belief systems that we have about, let's say, men, but remember I mean masculine energy, about maybe not showing their emotions, about like holding a strong space, about not getting disrespected, about not getting walked over, all of those. He is actually currently trying to transcend those patterns, but it is quite tricky. So I actually feel like from this pile, your twin flame is not actually currently only just working through what we've discussed as with his childhood stuff, but then it's also playing into the deeper dynamics about how masculine energy works within this society, and he's absolutely trying to break through those paradigms. So my guides are saying the reason why we've been told all of this is because one of the things that you really could do with this is make sure that you just hold a softer space for your partner, or for this twin flame, particularly when you see them starting to shut down. Because I do also feel on this side, your childhood, you have, in some way you've had to be quite protective. And I kind of feel like you haven't just been protective of yourself. You've either been protective of siblings or other children within your environment, or in some ways you've even been protective of your parents or your primary caregivers, right? Every time I say primary caregiver, I mean parents, because obviously we all have different dynamics with this as well. So with your primary caregivers, I really feel like you have been quite a protector, and I do think that you have a natural instinct to go into protective mode, okay? Which is kind of funny because I feel like your twin goes into more defensive mode, whereas you go into more protective mode. That might seem like a subtle nuance, but if you want to feel into your body and do it in meditation, you'll see that defense and protection reside in different areas of your body. And if you can see them as colors, like energy, they're different colored energies. Okay, so it is quite different, although it's kind of similar but the same, which is so, let's be honest, so stereotypical of a twin flame dynamic to kind of be the same but sort of not the same. So that's kind of what's coming off here with you. So I think the key thing here is when you notice your twin on any level, so whether you're not in communication and you just feel it in dreams or in intuition, or you are in communication and you are in physical contact with each other, when you see your twin flame really start to open up a little bit more than usual, just be mindful that actually there's a good chance that at some point then they're going to start to shut down a little bit as they feel a bit uncertain going into this unknown space of expanding their heart area. If you're aware of that, then you can make sure that you don't set up a chain reaction of irritation between that response. Because if you see them start to shut down in some way, then actually because you're prone to be a protector, in this instance, you could start protecting yourself and getting your defenses up. Problem is, because twin flames can read each other like, I don't know fucking what, like you cannot hide anything from your twin flame because they just feel it and know it on a deep level. If your twin starts to feel that you are putting up protection to do with them, that's going to cause them to shut down even more. And the truth is, they're going to start to feel irritated because they'll feel like, but why are you needing to protect yourself against me? Because I completely love you or are there for you. That's what's playing off in their unconscious mind, whether they're aware of it or not. Because generally the most masculine energy is actually wanting to be the protector. And their main thing is that they really want to make you feel safe, right? So if for some reason they feel that because of something they've done, they make you feel protected, like you need to protect yourself, i.e. not safe, that unconsciously feeds into them that they're not actually doing the role that they feel that they're here to do, which, bearing in mind, is then just triggering off this even more about the fact they're trying to break down their own conditioning to do with masculine energy and what it means to be a man. Okay, so that's kind of like what's going off there. So just be mindful of that, because actually I see that that's something that kind of causes you to, this paradigm of what I've just talked about, causes you both to go into retreat mode. You'll either block each other, you will just shut down from each other, or you'll just have a fight and bust up. I don't know, there'll be many different ways that you could respond to this, but either way it causes you to both go into this retreat mode. Technically nothing wrong with that, because actually it allows both of you to reflect on stuff and what's happened and what's going on, and then to re-go again and try it a new way. But actually if you want to break this pattern, then actually that's what you need to do. Notice when they're starting to open up more, appreciate that in some way that them might start to shut down a little bit, and just allow that to happen and don't react to it by being protective in whatever way, okay? Because when you do that, you kind of fall down this pit hole of to be quite honest with you, if this is you on this side, the more feminine energy, you really, if the more you can soften, the more you make space for this divine counterpart to come in and to protect you instead of you protecting yourself all of the time, okay? Because actually there's quite a masculine vibe I'm also picking up from this feminine energy on this side, and I do believe it's because of things that you've either experienced or situations or soul contracts you've come into to do with your family dynamic. You have been the protector, and that has actually set up quite a masculine vibe within you to do with certain situations. The problem is that masculine energy is then butting heads with this masculine energy at times, okay? So what you need to learn to do is, you know what, feel safe, know that you don't need to protect yourself anymore, and you don't really need to protect anybody else either, okay? Because actually that's not your role anymore, you know. And I think this is why you've got here angels and spirit guides and teacher here, the wolf. Because actually it's about a new way of you doing things, and it's actually funny the wolf is coming out. I can sort of appreciate this pile a lot, to be fair, because what I do really feel as well with this one is actually I feel that you've been quite a lone wolf in terms of because of the fact that you, for some reason, I don't think have necessarily felt safe in your environment growing up, it's made you develop like the ability to stand up for yourself and to protect yourself. That has actually given you the energetic signature of quite a lone wolf, which has not only made it difficult for your twin flame to get in, but I also think other sort of, let's say, suitors, as it were. And I do really feel like now is the time. It's no longer being a lone wolf, because actually, if you look at this picture, you can also see there's like a baby wolf there. It's so friggin' cute. Oh wow, and there's a shooting star in the background. I don't know if you can see that. But I really do feel that this is no longer about you being a lone wolf. It's now about you returning back to the pack, okay? It's returning back to the pack. And what I mean by that is it's allowing yourself to be part of a group and being supported by a group, and not always having to be the one that's kind of like fighting all the battles all of the time by yourself, or fighting the battles for your group, okay? So obviously take that in whatever way that resonates with you. But that, I really feel, is what's going off with them to their childhood, you to do with your childhood, and how that is then playing out with you both together. I do also feel with this strength card here, and actually with it over the water card here, I actually feel like both of you are really quite working on this. You've really been working on this hard. Whether you're aware of it or not, they have been. And my guides are just telling me they absolutely have been. And obviously you're trying to really work with this as well, and you're getting a lot of support to get past this stage at the moment. So I do feel like you will have been having quite a lot of intuitive insights about what we've been talking about. If you haven't, I would guarantee that stuff like that is going to start coming through, because you've obviously got this now first like seed of an inception of this idea triggered from this reading. So pay attention to everything we've talked about and seeing what information or what experiences life brings you as a result of this, so that you can basically clear this pattern and start something new. And I do think with the strength card, strength, it's weird, I don't usually see this, but with this I'm seeing it as like karma, and I'm seeing it as the crushing, the ending of this karmic cycle. I really, really do. And it's interesting because the first one here was the wasp spirit, and it says sometimes life stings. And it's kind of like, this is what my guides are telling me, so random, I'd never have thought of this. And actually it makes sense here, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, number 10. 10 is like the starting of a new cycle. Like I said here, this one I felt was the ending of karma, okay, to do with this cycle. With you and your twin flame, but also with them to do with their childhood stuff, you to do with yours. But also what I'm really feeling here with this is wasp spirit, sometimes life stings. The sting is the stimulation to not repeat the cycle again. That's what I'm really, really getting with this. So the sting is the signal to not keep repeating this cycle, and that it's over now. It's like done. Unless you actually decide to keep redoing it for some reason. But the truth is, you won't. I'm like, you won't. I think if you really listen to this reading, and then you appreciate what we've said about your twin, how that plays into you, and vice versa, have compassion for their childhood experiences that have set this up, have compassion for your childhood experiences that have set this up. I really, really feel like this is something that's going to be released and moved on. And you know what, my guides are like 2 weeks. I've never had them say anything as quick as that. So, I mean, I really feel like it's ready and it's time. Now, what I want to do is I want to pull a wild card, obviously for you to then interpret for yourself, to put this together with the rest of the reading. Also, do remember, with this twin flame dynamic, it's really complex, right? And it's like a spiral. You keep changing and growing, as does your twin, so you keep experiencing different parts of stuff. I wouldn't assume that just because this is nearly done and this is nearly done, that childhood stuff will never impact your dynamic again. My guides are telling me that's not true. It will then go on to another level. But the point is, the easier you find it to end this cycle, that ease and ability to see through your limiting beliefs and your childhood structures, then it comes into the next part of the cycle. So when you get another situation to do with your childhood things, you'll find it gets easier and easier and easier to resolve, until, in all honesty, it's just not even an issue. It's just something that you acknowledge, appreciate, integrate, and move on from. Woo! That felt like a mouthful. Anyway, let's just see. So obviously I'll read it out, you feel into this and make this your own. Oh, it's this one. Let's see what you get. I totally love these cards, by the way. Really like them. So, shit my nails. Here we go. Oh, nice. Rejuvenation. fractal pattern. I love friggin' fractals. That reminds me about what we were saying about the spiral that I just said just then. Now just bear with me while I get the book and then we'll read it out. Let's see. Here we go. Right, rejuvenation. The rejuvenation card is symbolically the same as the calm after a storm. When the clouds have parted and the air is fresh and crisp, you're about to move into a place of calm within your own life. This is rejuvenation of both the heart and inner spirit. Life certainly has its ups and downs. You're about to embark on the up cycle for a while. During this time, you will be able to experience a sense of ease within your life. You may even feel that for once, everything is right in your world. The normal stresses of the everyday will not seem so stressful. While your life will always have its demands, it will feel easier and more manageable. You will feel strong within yourself for this up-and-coming period of time. During this time of ease, you'll find that your sense of feeling good about your life and who you are as a person is restored. It will strengthen your feeling of connection to Source and being supported and provided for. Somehow the path ahead will seem clearer and easier to follow. This will also have beneficial physical effects as well. You will experience being more in sync and in tune with your body. You may very well find that you have more energy to do things and that your body wants to be active. The harmony you feel in your life will be reflected throughout your physical expression too. Take advantage of this beautiful experience in every way you can. Being brave enough to come down here and wear that human skin suit all these years says you deserve it. Now it's time to reap the rewards and experience the joy of being a soul incarnated in a human form. Nice. I'd say that's a very good card to get. Put that together with everything else. I do suggest with these ones maybe to listen to this reading a couple of times, just because, you know, childhood stuff really is in that subconscious, unconscious part. And so sometimes it's almost like it can be a blind spot. But I do kind of feel like most of you will get this, but I still think it's quite useful. Anyway, like I say, I'm on Instagram on AbieGrace2311. Put loads of psychic stuff there, so follow me there. I have Facebook, Twitter. I have my other YouTube account, See It Like a Psychic, so check that out for more information. And then there's my Etsy shop if you would like a reading in any way. But I feel like you'll get lots out of that and it will really shift stuff. So, and remember, you specifically, you rejoin the pack now. You rejoin the pack for sure. You're ready and that's awesome. So great, let's go on to the next reading. Hey there, so this is everyone that chose message number 2 to do with their twin flame and childhood stuff. So let us have a look. So the question is, twin flame connection, how are both your childhoods currently impacting this relationship and how can you leverage this? Okay, so let's see what we get. I'll see if I channel anything while we go through. You see if you also get any messages coming through. Just quickly, what I do want to say about this, when I talk about like him or her, all I'm talking about is masculine energy, feminine energy. I'm not talking about the physical representation of how you incarnated. We're talking about energies. And also, I'm going to use the word primary caregivers instead of parents in any way, but it means the same thing because obviously we all have different kind of setups to do with that, just so you know. Right, let's just see what's going on. This one's quite interesting actually. I'm getting, this is going to be you, this is them. I'm actually getting that somebody's childhood here, and it could have been both of you actually, it was very supportive, okay? And I feel like it was very supportive in kind of like a very physical way. So I feel like actually you had a lot of your needs met on a very physical level. What's this dynamic? Just give me a minute while I feel into it. Oh, wow. For that will go like that. I'm getting that almost there was a lot of choice in your childhood. Now, whether you felt like you had choice or not is a different kind of matter, or with your twin flame, right? I'm getting that was a lot of choice. But I'm also getting that there was a lot of choice, but I'm also getting that free will was something which was then paradoxically not quite there, because despite either or both of you having like lots of options and lots of things provided around you in a very physical way, I do feel that more on a mental and emotional level, there was kind of like, you knew that in order to please your primary caregivers, there were certain things you should say yes to and certain things that you should say no to. And that's kind of set up a little bit of a paradox around the dynamic of free will. And really, I really get with this one, there's power plays that really go off. Now, obviously, I know there's power plays that go off in every type of relationship at some point, but I do feel that currently the dynamic that is playing out between both your twin and you to do with your childhoods, which is impacting this relationship, is definitely a power play. And there's subconscious, unconscious things going off about, it's like you both want to please each other, right? Because I think you've both done that on some sort of level, or at least one of you has very much been a people pleaser in your childhood in some way. Actually, my guides are saying to me it's one of you specifically has been a people pleaser and the other one of you has definitely not been a people pleaser. And that is actually also setting up part of the power play that goes off between the two of you. Because that dynamic then plays out where one of you is trying to please the other more and the other one of you is like really just will almost be the devil's advocate and make sure they will not please you at times because it makes them feel independent and in control and powerful. And that's a setup that they got from childhood as a coping mechanism. And your coping mechanism, even though funny enough you have a very similar thing to your twin, which is you really like to be able to be independent and this, that and the other, on a very deep unconscious level, you are actually a people pleaser to people that you feel unconditional love to. And I do feel like that was one of your primary caregivers and that has also become your twin flame. So in some way you become a people pleaser to them in some whatever way that might be. Let me just pull just another one. So that's what we get as the channeled kind of thing there. But let's just see how that plays out then in the rest of this. I feel like all these go on top here for some reason. Right, let's have a look. So I'm not reading any reversals for this, by the way. So we have 2 of Wands. Oh, wow. And we have the Justice card. This is a friggin' powerful Justice card. Look at that. And you also have, you have angel support around here. Okay, great. And then your twin. Wow, really powerful again. The Magician. I mean, just look at the images on these. They are too powerful. They're so, so powerful. Obviously masculine here, feminine here. Energy-wise we're talking, remember? And also here, oh, wow. Queen of Cups. And then your twin also has here Neptune. Very interesting. See here, we have 4 of Wands. I do really like this shamanic deck because it depicts things very, very differently. And I do really see this as an exploration into a different part of reality that previously you hadn't been aware of. But actually walking through this pathway means a lot of transformation goes off. So what I would say is that obviously currently your twin flame dynamic is going through huge transformation. It's weird. In some ways I think it's quite intense, but in other ways I don't. I feel like there's just a lot of momentum pushing it in that direction. Now here we have Mercury, but it's kind of neither up nor down. We have relationship. And also we have winter reflection. Okay, right, just give me a moment while I feel into all of these energies. You please do the same and we'll put it together with the channeled message. Okay, so really what I get is categorically power plays goes off between you two. It happens quite a lot. And it happens because actually you both kind of like your own independence, and you both really like your own autonomy with stuff, but you both also really do want to connect. The thing is, because of childhood, you've seen that wanting what you want often means that you displease somebody else. And either your response to that is, well, give a fuck because I'm doing what I want, which I kind of feel like happens on this pile a little bit, even though then on a deeper emotional, spiritual level, that person feels lost every single time they do that. So every single time they have that response of, well, if you want me to do something and I don't want to do it, I am not going to do it, and fuck you. It's the vibe that I'm getting. And I have to say it like that because that's how it feels. The thing is, every time they do that, they then like go away and they go into reflection and retreat mode, and they suddenly block communication, and then they start to feel deeply into their soul with the Neptune card, and they're like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, I don't want to keep causing this conflict. And I don't actually just think that this happens with your twin flame with you. I do think they've also experienced this in other areas of their life. I think particularly when it comes to relationship dynamics, this is a situation and scenario they do constantly kind of get into. And I do definitely feel it's because the masculine, because we're talking, this is the more masculine energy on this side, actually has things that they have quite a lot of karma with their mother figure. So whoever was the female primary caregiver, I do feel like they have quite a lot of karma going off there. And I do also feel it's because their mother has gone through difficult situations with the father of this person. And I don't just think it's the father of this person. I also think they've gone through difficult situations with kind of like men in general. And I also think that they tend to get into a bit of a power play situation with men around them. So that's what's caused your twin to like repeat the similar sort of like a situation, but with women, because it just flipped itself. So I think it's really important that you're aware that your twin is working with that as a soul to do with their childhood, okay? So when they then do stuff which feels like it's going into a power play to do with you in some way, I think this is this card here. This is justice, but I also really feel it as karma in this card. It's funny because the other one had sort of karma too, but this is like the first one because they needed to sort of take different action, and this one, it's not that you don't take different action because you do, but it's more like with this one, I think just by you really understanding that your twin is working with this, it will already have a knock-on effect on that 5D reality, which is like the soul level, which then also starts to perforate through to 3D reality, which is this physical reality, and it will mean that actually the power plays instantly start to reduce. So it's almost like just by you being aware of this and having compassion for it and deciding almost like you are going to be a bit of a guardian angel to your twin, but also to do with you in this situation. And it's kind of like, I do really feel that this person here is supporting this person here get through this dynamic to do with power plays. And they're going to do that by just being consciously aware that this is what the twin does, and you understand why they do it. You have compassion for it. So the moment that it starts to go down that funky pathway, where then there would end up being blocked communication, retreat and reflection and all that kind of stuff, because a power dynamic goes off, you instantly dissolve that power struggle before it even starts. What I'm also getting for this feminine energy on this side is, another way that you impact this here in that positive way is you also apply what we've just talked about to your family dynamics. So in whatever way power plays can get set up, even if it's not directly to do with you, but it's to do with two members in your family, or if it is to do with you and another member of your family, you really have the ability to transform that karmic cycle now. And when you stop that power play to do with the family that you're already in, so your childhood stuff, whatever, siblings, I don't know, aunties, uncles, parents, whatever the hell it might be, you then also have it also by like quantum entanglement directly has an impact on your twin to do with this issue that they're also working with too. And this is the thing. This and this card really remind me, and this is why I think you're playing a bit more of a role in this moment to do with this setup. I do just want to point this out. At other times, your twin will be doing more in the role to support you. It's like you know what I mean? It's a yin and a yang. It's a balance. It's an ebb and it's a flow. Currently, I know it's you because these two energies are quite similar. It's both two people looking to go into a new reality or explore something new, okay? And I think you're going to be the one that's more consciously aware of this than your twin. Because you have more conscious awareness, you also therefore have more responsibility in this moment to direct this pattern and this setup, if that kind of makes sense. But like I say, it's not always this way. Sometimes your twin takes more responsibility, sometimes you do. Whatever you do, don't get stuck into thinking that it's always you, because that is also an illusion. But that's another thing, so we won't go there. It's probably useful for one or two of you to hear that. And I do also then feel, because you're the one that's like really working with this more consciously, you actually are having a lot of support from spirit guides, life, the universe, etc. And I just, and that's probably even why you've been guided to this video and you are watching this one, because this is all part of that guidance and that support system. So I do feel that's really useful. One other thing my guides are saying that's important for me to say to do with you guys, to do with how your childhood is impacting this kind of power play as well, is you have obviously this thing, I think, on a very, very deep unconscious level. So I don't even know if you'll be aware of it, that you are a people pleaser. And I do feel for some of you, this will shock you, because you'll think, what the fuck? I don't people please. I do what I want. But what it is on somebody that you have unconditional love with, and I also kind of feel this goes into the mother figure as well. I kind of feel both you and your twin are working with the mother vibration at the moment currently. I feel, and remember, that's the more feminine energy. It's not necessarily your mother, but it's the primary caregiver with the most feminine energy. I think that you had a thing that was a karmic cycle with that, whoever that figure is, to kind of like, you kind of like would do whatever they wanted, even though a lot of you would never really do what anybody else wanted, but for some reason you do with this figure. And that is just a karmic pattern. You know, when you get something which is seemingly so out of placement to do with the rest of you, that's very, very obviously a karmic pattern. And that's something that you can completely release and resolve, but it's just about being aware of it currently. And I do think it's really important that you're aware of that, because I also do feel on an unconscious level, or it might even be consciously for some of you, you then also do the same thing with your twin, because you kind of have that same unconditional type of love to do with them. It automatically puts you back into that cycle that you had to do with your primary caregiver, where you would do what they wanted, even if it wasn't what you wanted, because you had that kind of, it was almost it was unhealthy, unconscious codependency. Okay, so that codependency that you've got with whoever it is from your childhood sometimes gets reflected into this relationship with your twin, and you display some codependency habits. Then this is the thing. Your twin, because they just want the highest potential for you, whenever you display any sort of codependency on them, they're like, what the fuck? No, I'm not having this. I don't like it. They won't like it, because then it feels like some smothering thing, and they have that issue that they're working out with their mother, even though I don't think that she was a smotherer, but still it's the sort of thing that they had. But more importantly, they don't accept or tolerate you being codependent with them, because essentially it's a low vibration. And actually this is when your twin steps up and almost takes more responsibility for the situation, because they will just not accept or tolerate you being codependent with them. Okay, so I do think you kind of need to listen to that and take on board what they're saying with that. And then also just watch. You don't have it in many places where you're codependent, but the paradox is where you do have it, that you're codependent, you're really codependent, so much so that I really don't think that you will recognize it. Just by hearing this reading though, I feel like you can change that easily. And the reason why I think is because you're actually quite a strong energy and vibration, so it is almost paradoxical that you do fall into codependency patterns, because actually it's really not your vibe at all. You can be very self-sufficient, very self-reliant. I know this from like the Badger spirit here, be bold and fearless. Also, I have like quite a connection with the Badger spirit. The vibe of the Badger is a friggin' dude. He's badass. He knows what he wants. He knows what he doesn't want. He doesn't stand for shit, but he will absolutely hold his integrity. He will speak his mind. He will say few words, but it will be power. And ultimately, I know both of you have this energy. I think that's also why your twin, on an either conscious or unconscious level, finds it irritating as basically fuck when you actually go into codependency, because they really see you, whether they express it or not, as like a powerful, potent individual. So to see you start to give your power away to something, I just think they just don't like it. It just doesn't feel good. And then obviously plays into their childhood stuff, and then boom, come together, we get explosions, we get no communication, we get retreat, then we have to reflect, then we start the whole cycle again. Cool thing is though, now that you know this, and because there's so much support for you right now by like celestial realms, and also because your twin is actually very much becoming aware of their subconscious, unconscious mind, there is the complete ability to break and transcend this pattern. But just be mindful of all those different dynamics playing out, because like with all psychic resources, really this is about giving you the ability to see into the future and to see into future situations. So then you have hindsight before the incidents occur, and therefore you can take different actions and not come from like an unconscious reactive space. That's really, really what this is all about. So definitely put that all together, how it fits. Now I'm just going to pull a wild card for you to interpret just yourself. Put it together with all the rest of this reading and see what you get. See. So this one is the one I feel. I do really, really love these cards. Oh wow, you get fearless. Boom. Really feel like these two people are fearless, and it's so cool. I love it. Let me just read out of the book. So reflection. Oh no, sorry, fearless. Let's see. So fear is natural, normal, and healthy. It is part of the human survival mechanism, but sometimes fear can take us over in an unhealthy way and stop us dead in our tracks. Dear soul, you have received this card today because the energetic imprint of fear is blocking your necessary progression forward in your life. The fact that you are experiencing fear right now is a sign that you are about to take a very important step forward on your path. It may also indicate that your path is being blocked from the negative, fearful energy holding you. This card brings the soft, loving energy of spirit to give you the emotional support you need. It is strengthening your heart center to help you overcome the limiting fear-based thoughts which are holding you back. Too much of your time has been spent thinking about things you think or feel you need to do in your life. It is now time to begin taking action, one baby step at a time. Where there is fear, there is often a lack of faith. It's time to put your trust in the hands of spirit. There is a reason you are feeling called to take action, and there is also a reason why you are experiencing the blockage of fear as well. Quite often, the one thing we fear to do is the very thing which will lead us to our own empowerment. Fear is the factor which we must all overcome in order to step into our power. Breathe as you relax your body and release your mind. Trust yourself. Trust in the divine. Begin taking the necessary steps forward despite your fear. Remember, fear is a feeling, not a reality. You cannot remain small any longer. Your heart is calling you onward. Be brave, be fearless. Whoops. And then it just says, just go for it. Great. I do really love that card. It's really beautiful. So powerful. And this was just a very powerful spread. So yes, so take on board everything with that. I'm also on Instagram on AbigailGrace2311. You can find me there. Check out my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, for more kind of tips, tools and techniques to do with psychic stuff. Because this twin flame journey is absolutely always pulling you to become more psychic, more in tune with your own self and self-growth. And then also I have an Etsy shop if you would like a reading in any way. But other than that, just play around with everything we've talked about, completely make this your own, and yeah, this can all start to change, because you really, this is everything you need to know right now to change the situation that you're in. So, cool, let's go on to the next one. So hi guys, this is pile number 3 for those of you that chose this pile, and we're going to pull cards for twin flame connection, how both your childhoods are currently impacting this relationship dynamic and how you can leverage this. So you feel into everything. I'll do the same. I'll see if we get any channeled messages, and you just also do the same, because you're all psychic. It's just, we all are. It's how this works. Particularly when you're on this twin flame journey, it totally starts up opening those extra parts of you. So let's see. Okay, so first of all, what I'm just getting is, I'm getting just an image of a little girl opening up a box, and then inside there's a smaller box which she opens, and then a smaller box which she opens, and a smaller box which she opens. So it's kind of like a Russian doll, but not, it's a box. And she's just completely focused on it. Let's just, oh wow, it's fun. Let's see what else we get. And then obviously we'll put it all together. Oh wow. Let's go right over here, fine. Flying out. Okay, and then I'm getting that then now as well I can see like another child, like a little boy or whatever, who is it looks like making like a brick wall somehow, and also just completely focused on that. So what my guides are starting to bring in is that both of you have had childhoods where I feel like you've been left to your own devices quite a bit. And that's cool, because it's allowed you to, oh wow, that's popping straight out the right way. It's allowed you to explore very much what it is that you want in physical reality. But I'm not sure. I feel like both of you have disconnected quite a bit in whatever way it is. Not necessarily from physical reality, although obviously some of you have done that, but I don't really feel that. But it's more like, I think a lot of you have disconnected from how you feel about things. And I think you've put a lot more emphasis on getting on with stuff in life. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I feel like both of your childhoods have brought you up with the belief system that, you know, you just get on with life, basically. Like, just, it's almost like, and obviously I'm in the UK, it's like the stiff upper lip is what we call, like, as Brits will say it. Like, you know, just like sort of avoiding emotions, like not bothering with those, like, oh, they're just getting in the way, they're complicating stuff. Just be practical, pull yourself together and just be practical. I'm kind of getting that both of you have kind of like had that vibe as you've been growing up, and that's made both of you, I think, very self-reliant, and I think very good at getting on with stuff. But the problem is, now that you two are interacting with each other, as in you've met each other, or you, whatever it might be in this twin flame dynamic, it's actually bringing up a whole new part of yourselves, which you've never, ever really explored, which is how you feel about stuff. Like, you know, it's, I mean, it's like a completely new world has started to get opened up for both of you, because now you're actually starting to feel. And I'd actually say that for both of you, I don't think you've ever really felt this way or had this connection obviously with anybody else. But I mean, I know you won't have done, because obviously the twin is that real intense experience. But what I mean for this pile is, I mean, you've never had anything close really to proper emotional connection with somebody, because you've never really totally felt total emotional connection with yourself. But the awesome thing about this is, right now, whatever is going on in this twin flame relationship dynamic, it's really bringing up all sorts of things so that you feel. But obviously with that comes things for better and for worse, we know that, but that's no problem, because this is all part of that pathway and that journey. Let me just get one more. And my guides are actually saying that's why this card is Bocat, Life is a Mystery, because it's almost like this whole, like, you're just, being exposed to a whole other part of what it means to be human. And it's like, wow, kind of thing, for better and for worse. But anyway, I'm really interested to pull these over now, see what's going on in more detail. Okay, so we have 3 of drums there. We have right in the center 4 of swords. And here we have going within, inner world boji stones. So for you, I'm going to go for you this pile, for them this pile, okay? But if it switches either way, you'll know, right? Go with it. So then we have, I freaking love this card, Temperance. And we also have 7 of Wands. And also here, Divine Guidance with the Dove. That's that. And then on the other side here, we have, this is also a beautiful card, 10 of Crystals and 8 of Swords. And then here, oh, friggin' love this, we have the Cosmos. Right, let me just feel into this and put it together with what we got on the channeled message. I just want to put those like that so I can feel into them. You please do the same. Okay, so I'm getting so much stuff coming in. It's just like, I just need to get this out of my head before I lose it all. What is going off here is, like I said about these emotional things that are coming up for both of you because you're stimulating stuff within you. Like your counterpart twin here is really starting to become aware of, and the word is love. It's quite literally the word love. Really starting to become aware of love, but also what it means to like really care for something that's outside of you, basically. Like I just can really see how like it's almost like this is you, right? And for the first time ever, this like seed thing here, they actually really are really aware that they really, really care for somebody, something else. And I feel like it's quite shocking to them. I feel like it's been quite energetically draining to them because it's like any new experience, any new emotion, anything like that. It's like they're actually processing this, what it really means to like feel in this way. And I do really feel like I've got 8 of Swords here. I do actually feel like it has been very, very draining to them in some way, because it's been like, I think it's almost shocked them because they've spent a lot of time like really focusing on things outside of themselves, like building and creating things in a very physical way. And actually now that they're starting to, like I say, have these completely different feelings, it's like literally creating almost like, look at this, it's creating like a new nebula, like a new, do you know, I can keep thinking and feeling it's like a whole new world is being pulled to them because their heart is starting to open up. And I just think, I can just feel that, I mean, I don't even really know what to say. I'm never stuck for words. But that's how they feel, right? They don't even really know how to express this, how to word this. They don't even quite know how to comprehend that in their own mind as well. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's what's going on. And I do know this is what's happened because they've never really been shown this kind of, you know, there's many different forms of love. My guides have always told me there's so many different forms of love, and people are in relationships and they all love each other, let's say, but that love can be very different from one couple to another couple to another couple, right? And this is the thing, this dynamic is making them experience something which is, it, you know what it is? It's really, really, really caring for somebody else, almost as if they were you. I can't really describe it. And you know why I can't describe it? Because I do feel this is the more masculine energy. And the way that I would describe this energy is this. It's the energy that, you know, when a mother is pregnant and then they have a baby and it's that really bonding moment and it's something that has like grown inside of them so it feels part of them. This sounds so bizarre, but it's kind of like your twin is starting to experience that type of energy, but from the masculine energy like perspective. which is just really where they really care for somebody outside of themselves more than they care for themselves. For example, it's the sort of energy where, I don't know, let's just go back in the olden days, because let's just be just that stereotypical gender thing, just so you get the vibration. It's kind of like when men would sacrifice their lives to keep their wife and children safe. Like, that is the energy that's starting to come into this person, and it is shocking to them, totally shocking. So they're processing that kind of thing. Let's just see what's going on with you. With you, you know what, I'm starting to feel like this is the more feminine energy. Like a couple of things, right? One of the things is I'm starting to feel like you're starting to realize that you are desirable, right? That you are, and I don't just mean desirable in like a sexual way, although obviously it's that too, because it's a holistic thing of like being desirable, like being adored, right, is that kind of vibe that you're starting to feel to do with yourself. And I feel that as well, this is equally shocking to you. So as much as your twin is dealing with this concept here, which is shocking to them, you're also kind of like, you're almost defensive to the idea that you could be adored by somebody else, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, you're just kind of shocked by it. And I do think previously you have been very defensive to allowing someone outside of you to really adore you. So you're probably the sort of person that finds it difficult to accept compliments. And once again, I think this goes back to childhood stuff. I actually feel, and this is like the paradoxical twist, one of your primary caregivers totally adores you or adored you or whatever. But the thing is, because they saw you as something so amazing, they also really wanted to protect you and keep you safe. So really weirdly, and this was done out of love, but just an unusual expression, they sort of like, as much as they wanted you to shine, they kind of didn't want you to shine too much in case somebody took advantage of you because they think you're that precious. So you will also have worked with this thing of like, you don't think it feels safe to be adored because actually you've been brought up to feel and believe that, you know what, don't attract too much attention because that might cause something bad to happen to me, or like somebody will take advantage of me, or, you know, there's that kind of vibe that's kind of gone off. So this is the funny thing, and come on, we have to admit these things are funny, you know, when you look at it, is like, now that your twin is that kind of thing, like realizing how strongly they actually feel for you and that you are amazing and all these kind of things, and they're processing that because they're like, what the fuck, I never feel like this. You then are also in some ways picking up on how they're feeling about you in that way, and you're also feeling like, oh my god, that doesn't feel safe. Shit, I've been like, you won't be saying this consciously, but your subconscious and your little inner child is like, wait a minute, it's not safe for us to be adored because we've been taught that, I don't know, we shouldn't shine too much because something bad might happen to us and we're too precious for that, so we need to be kept safe. So it's kind of playing off on itself in that kind of way, and this is causing this type of energy, if you can see it. It's like, it's really bringing up stuff for both of you about I think this is really interesting. It's bringing up things for both of you about how your learning patterns, or sorry, your souls are both spiritually like working with this theme of love is safe. Love is safe. Like true love and appreciation is safe. And I feel like the masculine energy is doing it from the point of view of it's safe for me to give that. And I think the feminine energy is doing it from the point of view of it's safe for me to receive that. And my guys are just like setting off a whole load of fireworks and being like, that is exactly the message we're trying to get you to say. So that's it, guys. That's what this is going off here. You know, and that's creating like a whole new kind of like paradigm structure for your twin. And for you, it's just opening up a whole load of, I want to say like beauty, but almost beauty that is, it's otherworldly, because essentially you've never really experienced that in this reality because you've been within the constraints of the childhood patterns that you chose to adopt as a soul when you came here. Because obviously it's always really important to remember all of this. No blame on the parents, no blame on the childhood situation, even though, I mean, obviously we've all been there and we do it because we're human. But both of you guys really chose these parents to set you up, to help you master these parts of yourself, which then allows you to be in alignment to have the awesome reality that you want, both in relationships and in career and in wealth and in health and in all those pimping stuff that's really physical, earthly. So that's really what's going off on here. The Bulgy Stones, when this first came out to me, I just knew, oh, you're both working with masculine and feminine in a really, really obvious way. And obviously now this makes sense. Now this really, really makes sense. But it's all about that thing about feeling safe. Like love is safe. It's safe for the masculine to give it, and it's safe for the feminine to receive it. And then it's obviously how it plays off in that kind of way. So you guys just need to be really mindful with yourself. You maybe want to work with some affirmations. You maybe want to read some like positive literature to do with things about receiving, and obviously maybe about feminine energy and how it's safe to step into that place. Remember, it doesn't matter if you are a man but you have more feminine energy. We're talking about the energy. I also feel for you guys, it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe you'd want to do something like start pole dancing. Maybe you would want to start just wearing clothes that are just a little bit more sensual or sexual in some kind of way, and start feeling comfortable with that. You know, just do something to really embrace that energy, because it is safe for you to shine in whatever way that might be. And then also to do with, I know that most of you here come with feminine energy, right? Which is why I tend to focus more on what you guys do than this guys. But say if you're the feminine energy, to do with obviously your masculine counterpart, really all it is, you know what, if they do start giving you, you know, in some ways giving you compliments, or you're starting to really feel that you can feel their energy and it feels loving and nurturing, just receive it. You know what I mean? Just enjoy receiving it. That's what needs to go off here. And obviously if you're the more masculine energy that's watching, you just need to, you know, just gently start to show this appreciation and adoration for your counterpart. Because if you do it too quick, obviously it might shock them, because also they're also trying to work in the realms of feeling safe to receive. And actually for you to be a really good giver, or for anybody to be a really good giver, it's about knowing how and when and how much and all the nuances to do with how to give in the perfect way. But also with giving and receiving, everything's going to be about timing. And so I do also think this element is going off for both of you. And that involves you to tap into your intuition, okay? But also know your own blind spots, so a blind spot doesn't make you act out of timing, if that makes sense. And I feel that was important, that just little bit there about timing. So now let us pull a card. This is just for you to interpret, to make this reading your own. Go with your own intuition above anything else, and let's see what you get. So, oh wow, up. Let's see what this says. I just really like the colours on there. So pretty. So let's see. Up. So it says here, time to lift your eyes off the ground and start looking up towards the heavens. Keeping you down and trying to be small isn't doing anyone any favours. This world needs you, the real you. Low self-esteem and self-worth is impeding your perception of whom and what you really are. It is also affecting your ability to put yourself out into the world. There is a whole other life waiting inside you, crying to be lived. The only thing standing in your way is you. The universe sees you and knows you as a divine spark of the all. They are calling you now to begin embracing that aspect of yourself too. Stand up, hold your head up, and begin looking at the ways in which you are disempowering yourself. It's time to start building your own personal sense of value and your own sense of worth. Spirit knows this is not an easy task, which is why they have brought you this message today. Every time you feel you are not enough, look up to the heavens and know the entire cosmos is supporting you on this. When you see the sky above you, let that be your reminder that you are more than enough. You are God incarnated, and the one who can give you value and sense of worth is you. There is nothing your guides and angels want more than to see you step up to the truth of who you really are. Start looking to the good within you, the value you actually do have, and the difference you really do make. Start to see the universe, or start to see yourself as the universe sees you. Human is what you're wearing on the outside. Inside, you are brilliant light of divine source. Remember who you are. That's a really cute message. I really like it. Cool, so put that together with everything, have a little think about all of those things, and obviously given the information that's come out, how you then need to start to maybe make subtle changes in your behaviour, both personally for you and for this twin flame dynamic. You can also find me on Instagram on AbigailGrace2311. I post lots of psychic stuff on there. Also check out my other YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic. There's loads of different tools and resources, so you can really start to just really own yourself in so many different ways, because that's what this journey is all about, and express your potential. And then also I have an Etsy shop if you would like readings or anything like that, and there'll be some digital products on there soon so that you can just have all of these tools to use as and when you want. But other than that, hopefully see you guys soon, and thank you so much for watching. And I love reading for you. It's awesome. I really, really love it. So cool. See you guys soon.